Hey guys, Happy Conscious Gal here. It's been a few days since I've recorded a live vlog because some of you know I was sick for a few days and I just was like lying in bed and I probably wouldn't have looked very appealing on film. So I played with iMovie instead and made a bunch of really crazy vlogs using music and titles and images, which was really fun. But now I'm back in person, so hello. Basically what happened was pretty full on and really was the first major challenge that I've had to encounter on this P2 protocol. Basically, some of you know that I went away camping to a festival in the Australian bush for 6 days. And it was fantastic. I had a great time. I made a blog showing you all about it and how I stuck to my P2 foods. And I was really strict. I never cheated once. And I was really proud of myself. And then but it was very, very cold there. I mean, you'll see in that vlog I was like wearing hats all the time and coats. And I think what happened was just, being in such a cold environment, constantly trying to stay warm, never any heating or any buildings with any warmth in them, and just eating such a small amount of food. I think my body just got really run down. Also, I wasn't sleeping because we were up a lot, very late, and also it was very cold. And I was like sleeping with a hat on, but it still wasn't warm enough. So I think my body just got run down. And when I think about it, everyone else there, when they got really cold, they had food to warm them up. They get instant calories from eating something or something hot, particularly like a hot chocolate or something with sugar. And so they could warm themselves up with food, and I really didn't have that option. So maybe that was part of it, or maybe I just was run down from the whole thing. But on the very last day, as we were just about to leave, we were in the middle of packing up the tent, and I'd packed up a lot of the clothes. I'd been packing for a few hours, and I was feeling fine. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling really nauseous, dizzy, like I was going to vomit. It came on really, really quickly, and I didn't know what was going on. And I just found myself sort of passing out in the tent and just lying there for like a couple of hours, unable to get up, just terrible stomachache, really feeling sick. And my boyfriend was packing. We had to get home, but I just couldn't help him because I couldn't get up. The room was spinning, or the tent was spinning. Somehow, after about 2 hours of that, I stumbled over to the first aid tent, which was not far from us, not far from our tent. And to my horror, I got there and saw that they had unpacked and the whole tent was completely empty. There were no people, there was no equipment, it was all gone. And I was like, oh my God, I was wrapped in all these blankets. Like, oh, somebody help me. And then this one nice man from first aid came back, quite a young guy, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he had a little bit of equipment with him, and he stuck a thing in my ear to take my temperature because I was actually worried I had hypothermia, but turns out I didn't. My temperature was fine. And so he says to me, what have you eaten today? And of course, at that point all I'd had was my morning apple. I hadn't had lunch yet. I said, oh, I've had an apple. And he goes, oh, that's not enough food to eat in these conditions. How much food have you been eating all week? And I said, oh, yeah, not that much. And he goes, oh, you're probably just low blood sugar. It's ridiculous. You run yourselves down, you women, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and he said, we have to get your blood sugar up fast. You're having a low blood sugar attack. And as he said that, I thought, well, maybe it's a hypoglycemic attack, which I know that is mentioned in pounds and inches. It's mentioned that it can happen, I think, towards the end of your round. I'm nowhere near the end of my round. I've got a lot more weight to lose still, so I didn't think it was that, but I thought, well, maybe it's that. So I took his advice, and he basically tried to make me eat a lolly candy, and I was like, no way. There's no way I'm doing that on P2. Just 6 days, all I've eaten is fish. I'm not going to cheat now. But he said, you have to have sugar. He said, have some orange juice. I was like, no, I just didn't want to do it. Anyway, I was feeling so sick. I was almost about to faint. He said, take these 2 biscuits and eat them now. And he was so strict. And I was like, shit, he's right. It's not worth damaging my health. I might faint. And I've got it packed. I've got to get home. So I ate these 2 biscuits. They were like ginger biscuits. They tasted so sweet. I felt sick. I mean, when you haven't had sugar for 28 days or 26 days or whatever it was, I just felt totally sick. Anyway, he said, you should revive within a few minutes. So I sat there wrapped in all these blankets that they gave me, and I didn't revive. I didn't feel any better. And I was like, what? Anyway, so I finally somehow stumbled back to the tent and got in the car to drive off and just vomited all the biscuit and the apple up. And I realised I don't think it's a hypoglycemic attack. I don't think I was supposed to eat that sugar. Luckily, I vomited it, so it doesn't matter. But I vomited because I was sick, not because I was trying to get rid of food. Anyway, I've subsequently realised that I had gastro, what we call gastro here, which is gastroenteritis, which is just a stomach flu, which is basically just bugs that you always have in your stomach. Because I was very run down, my body couldn't fight them off and it sort of gave in to them and got overrun by them. So, classic symptoms of stomach flu, stomach bug, gastro is, nauseous, can't hold any food down, dizzy, vomiting, very low energy, very weak. And so I've got to tell you, the 6-hour drive back to our house here in Melbourne was really challenging. I mean, I was just like nauseous, just like, please make it end, please make it end. And then I just passed out, just fell asleep. Somehow I got up the stairs when we got home and just passed out in bed for about 12 hours. So that day, basically I ate no food. I mean, I threw up the little bit I ate in the morning. So I had zero food, 0 calories. So I was kind of interested to see what that would do to my weight loss when I woke up the next morning safe in my warm bed after having 12 hours sleep. And I woke up Wednesday morning and I had actually lost a tiny little bit, like from 157 pounds to 156.5. So I'd lost a little bit, so I thought, okay, well, it's all right. So then that day, I couldn't hold down any food, so I couldn't stick to the protocol. And, you guys know I've been strict 100%. I've never cheated, but I literally could not eat fish. And my main protein for the last month has been fish. I physically couldn't eat it. I would have vomited. I couldn't eat vegetables, and I couldn't eat fruit. So I was like, what am I going to eat? Normally when you get stomach flu, you eat plain crackers or plain toast or plain rice or some very simple carbohydrate, very neutral, calms your stomach down. And I just didn't know what to do, so I went online, I tried to find vlogs about this. That's why I'm making this vlog now, because I couldn't find any vlogs about it. I found a few articles about it, and basically people said you just have to look after your health first, don't worry so much about the protocol, just do what you can do to calm your stomach down and know that, you'll be fine. You can keep losing weight when you're better. I didn't want to go off the diet. I still gave myself the injections, and I was going to stay under 500 calories, but I just knew I'd have to change the foods. And I looked on normal websites about gastro and stomach flu and what you should eat, and they all said very plain stuff. The only protein that I saw listed there was eggs, and I thought, okay, well, I might be able to get down a boiled egg. So what I did was, my boyfriend has these, I don't eat wheat, so I'm not going to eat bread or anything, and I really didn't want to eat rice, brown rice. But my boyfriend has these spelt crackers that I normally love, but he's still eating them, I'm not. They're very, very thin. There's no wheat in them, they're just spelt. And they're quite low calorie, and I looked and I saw that one of them was only about 36 calories, and I thought, well, I think that will calm my stomach. I ate it and I felt much better. So I ate a few of those, and they really settled my stomach down, I have to say. But they're obviously way off protocol because they're starch, carbs, sugar, grain, And I forced myself to eat a boiled egg. And in the evening I ate, I think, another boiled egg. So that's all I ate that day. Probably was only about 250 calories, but at least it was under. And, I still had got some protein into me. And I was really worried that eating those spelt crackers would interfere with my weight loss. But they didn't, because I woke up on Thursday morning and I'd gone down 0.5 kilogram, which is from 156.5 to 155.4 pounds, so 0.9 of a pound. So that was a massive shock. And my measurements all went down. So then the next day, which I think was my second day at home in bed, I was feeling a little bit more hungry and a little bit more energy, and I needed to eat, but my stomach was still very sore. I still couldn't eat fish or vegetables or fruit. And the spelt crackers had helped me so much the day before that I had a few more of them. I had a lot more of them, actually. And I also had, I think, 3 eggs or 4 eggs instead of 2. And by the end of the day, I had eaten exactly 500 calories, but probably 50% of it was from spelt crackers. So that's way off protocol. I mean, that's just totally off protocol, as you all know. Because the composition of the foods is just as important as the calorie intake. So it was just way too much starch, processed starch. So the next morning, which was Friday morning, yesterday morning, was the first actual stall I've had on this entire protocol, which I think is pretty amazing. I know a lot of people have lots of stalls, so I'm very grateful and I'm not worried about it. I know why it happened. Obviously, I ate spelt crackers all day. But it was a genuine stall, not just a stall on the scales. I don't believe in stalls on the scale because that's just to do with water retention. This was a real stall in that I had no changes in my measurements. Every single day for 28 days, I measure myself in about 20 different places. And there's always movement in at least 2 places that I measure. Sometimes 6 or 7 places go down, but usually 1 or 2, always. Yesterday was the first day I've ever measured myself and not one place changed. Nothing changed on the scales, nothing changed in my body. My whole body just went, no. So, you know, don't eat spelt crackers on P2. That's the moral of the story. But I had no choice, and it did help me. Yesterday, I was able to start eating a little bit of vegetables again. I got an idea to get apple. I knew I couldn't eat apple yet, but I cooked it up and made apple compote, like applesauce. Really easy to get down, really good on my stomach. That really helped. And then I think I might have been able to eat tinned tuna yesterday. I didn't feel like cooking fish. I'm sick of that, I have to confess. And I could get the little bit of tuna down, and I didn't eat vegetables because I know they're really hard to digest when you've got a stomachache. In the evening, I made a very simple egg white omelette with a tiny little bit of broccoli in it. I don't normally eat broccoli in P2, but I'd run out of all my normal vegetables. I had to eat my boyfriend's broccoli, tiniest little bit. And I managed to get that down and keep it down. So I knew that I was better, and that today I'd be back on protocol. And today I have been eating normal food, normal fruit, normal vegetables, normal fish. Not fish, but tuna. I've had tuna and I've had eggs again. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the market and buy proper fresh fish. And tomorrow I'll be 100% back on protocol. Anyway, I was rewarded after eating the tuna and the broccoli and the eggs and the fruit yesterday and not eating any spelt crackers because this morning my weight loss had resumed. I'd gone down 1/2 kilo again, which is 0.9 of a pound, so almost a pound. So hallelujah, I only stalled myself for 1 day. I'm very proud of that because, you know, I could have really messed myself up when I was sick. You know, I could have eaten not enough protein to lose weight. I could have eaten a whole ton of bread or rice to try and soothe my stomach, and I just tried to stay balanced. And so I just want to say to people, if you get sick on this protocol, you can survive. You just have to think about it. You've got to be sensible, you know. Try and get some protein down because it's the protein that helps you burn the fat. If you have to eat some carbs, try not to choose wheat or anything toxic. You know, try and find a spelt cracker. Find one that's low calorie. Eat it slowly so that you feel the effects of it and you don't have to gorge on them. I did notice that eating those spelt crackers for 2 days has definitely brought back my urge for carbs. I noticed today I had such an urge to eat crackers and I was like, no, you're back on P2, don't. So that's the price you pay. You re-trigger the urges. So, you know, but I'm happy with it. I went fine. My weight loss has by and large been unaffected and I feel like I got through the biggest speed bump that I've been on. So I'm very grateful. And the biggest bonus was one of the nights when I was really sick and I had a fever. I got up in the middle of the night to change my pajamas because they were sweaty and wet because I was feverish. And I rustled through my thing to find some new pajamas, and the only ones that were there were my sort of last resort pajamas that really are too small, and I don't like them because they're not comfortable, because they're not stretchy, they're button-up ones. Actually, I have them here. You have them right here. So these are them. I don't know if you can see, but they're really pretty. But they've always been like tight, so I've always worn them undone. Anyway, I got such a shock, put them on, totally big on me. I could do them up. I was like, oh my God, my favourite pyjamas that I love that I never could fit into fit me. So they're no longer my last resort pyjamas. They're now my first choice pyjamas, and all my other ones are going to have to get thrown out because they're too big. So that was the one highlight of me being sick, the discovery of my pyjamas fitting me. So that's fantastic. Anyway, just wanted to share all that with you guys because I know some of you have been wondering where I've been and if I'm alright. I've survived stomach flu. I've managed to stay on protocol, and you can do that too. Just make sure to put your health first if you get sick on the protocol. The diet can resume later on. If you have to eat a few crackers or eat a piece of bread, it's fine. Just look after yourself. And drink lots of water or tea or vegetable broths or any kind of liquid that you can get down. So that's what I did. So anyway, that's all for me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow in my next vlog. And till then, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye!